This is Kev Millar from the 2004 World Champion Boston Red Sox, and you're listening to Boston's Big Three podcast presented by Ride the Wave Media.
Welcome to Boston's Big Three, episode 73. Now, normally I go into a spiel about a random ad read right now, but if you've never listened to anything that we've done before, this is your first episode, welcome, first and foremost. But if you've been listening throughout all 73 episodes, the time is now, man. Like we're about to drop some crazy news regarding Boston's Big Three. A lot of it is going to be dependent on, really, our fans, our listeners. Is keep listening, keep telling people. You guys been here since the jump, and like we see the numbers, so like we're happy with where we're at. We're not happy enough. We're about to take this to the moon. If you haven't seen it, Stafford's and Matthews dropped yesterday, episode 1. I'm sure you've seen all the promo, but just in case you haven't, go check that out. Joe is going to be talking about that in a minute, and then he'll be on the show eventually, talking it up with the boys. But anyways, big news coming, Babs and Joe. If you want to explain a little more, I know you guys kind of orchestrated the whole thing. The floor is yours.
All right, sounds good. So Boston's Big Three is officially launching our first independent website, which is super exciting. Dropping some merch as well, coming in the Celtics tomorrow. Hopefully they win. By the time you're listening to this, probably will be victorious and going to the Eastern Conference Finals. But a lot of interesting stuff coming up here. Sunday, obviously football starts. Patriots versus the Dolphins, week 1. I think 1 o'clock game, 1 o'clock start. Dropping some merch as soon as that game ends. It's going to be a very exciting experience for Boston's Big Three and Ride the Wave as a whole. I mean, BB3 is a hell of a lot bigger than all 4 of us. As we said earlier, Chris Matthews is starting to come into the fold. Even guys like New Guys Pod, Pat Sr., Graham Tuck, and other stuff like that. So it's a very exciting time to be part of Boston's Big Three family. So don't stop now. Keep riding the wave with us.
We've been telling you for the last 2 years to ride the wave, and it's been a vision of mine. And Ride the Wave Media literally is like, people want to say what it is, but I said it to Dave Portnoy right to his face down at Super Bowl 53. You left the Boston market wide open for a personality to take over. Things had to click. We built a brand with Spike King, and then all of a sudden it turned into Ride the Wave Media. And over the last year and a half, we're figuring what works and what doesn't work. We failed sometimes, and we've probably ruined some of our reputation, but we didn't when it came down to Boston's Big Three, a podcast that was created by myself, Tyler Miller, and GRD, and then you have someone like a Brendan Watabe who comes in, picks up the pieces, gets us on Apple. You have somebody like a Joe Stafford who comes in, picks up the pieces, and then has his own spinoff show. And what's great is you're laying up in that hospital bed, coming off of back surgery, and you're just feeling like a wreck, and then you get this call from somebody that says, Brian, you guys have wasted so much opportunities and so much revenue and so many dollars. You guys have it. You guys have it built. And that's not coming from him. We know people like Tyler, and even that's why Chris Matthews wants to join this Boston's Big Three / Ride the Wave family. We have something here together, and now that the formula is coming together, and now that we're really putting that brand out there, we're ready to take this area in Boston and, worldwide, nationwide, whatever we can do by storm. I'm so excited for the opportunity that people here are going to get. I'm excited that GRD and Spike King can start settling their differences, because guess what? We're going to have a whole line of GRD merch for the GRD pod where he has his creative concept. He built that brand. He can go with that brand. I think that people are going to start realizing it. Give us some time, and we want your feedback. If you listen, if you go on our website, we want your feedback. But the fact is that we are going to start releasing merchandise, and we have other little things that are going to start coming together. This is a great way that during COVID, where I should be going to the game on Sunday, then the next week I should be at Seattle, then I should be worrying about a trip. No, for the next couple months, we're home still. We're not going anywhere, and we're using our resources, our time to build this brand even further, that by next year, this time when the NFL kicks off, which is going on in the background right now, then we're recording, we're going to be so far ahead of everybody else that people are going to be bowing down and be like, I cannot believe I rode that wave for the last 3 years.
Speaking of which, what's the score? I'm missing the game right now.
The Texans
touchdown.
are in
David Johnson.
David Johnson.
And
Any of you guys got him on your fantasy team?
I had the
'Cause
Chiefs
I
minus
do.
9.5.
We do have a current Texan and a current Chief actually coming up on Stafford and Matthews in the next couple of weeks. Talk about that a little bit. Randall Cobb, former Packer, former Dallas Cowboy, and now current Houston Texan, is appearing on Stafford and Matthews in the next couple of weeks, as well as Super Bowl champion, former Seattle Seahawk, and current Kansas City Chief, Frank Clark, the sack master himself. A lot of interesting guests coming up, and a few we're not going to tell you about yet, but big names.
That's exciting, man.
Very excited. I'm excited. I'm thrilled
Me
to have
too.
this opportunity and to share with you guys today.
I've been on the phone. Michelle hates me right now. If you saw what was going on in the back, especially now having twins, if you saw what was going on in the background, she's giving me the dirty eye. She's giving me the dirty look. I've never been this excited for a project as a whole since the company's actually started. And the fact is that we have something going, and this could be one of our. This is like our initial launch weekend coming up. It could be so successful. It's going to open up everyone's eyes and be like, holy shit, we have something in our possession. Let's run with this.
How expensive is office space in Boston right now? Just curious.
I don't know, but we'll definitely get on Causeway Street, Canal Street. I mean, COVID's wiping everybody out, and we're starting the initial company. It's been here, but now we're starting the initial company during the
It's an
middle
official
of a
rebrand.
pandemic.
That's how I look at it.
That's what I look at. I mean, ride the wave. This is always going to exist, and BB3 is going to be the subsidiary, but BB3 is the nice shining podcast network that we're going to be able to have. I want to say this. I'm going to say this right now and timestamp it on September 10th, 2020. Dante Hightower is going to retire next year. I want to be the one that goes out and signs Dante Hightower to the Boston's Big Three Network and gets him his own podcast and gets his own merch line before anyone else grabs him. I feel that confident in 1 year's time we're going to be able to do that when he officially retires. We are going to be able to start networking out there and get people on the BB3 Network to have them have like the other Stafford and Matthew podcasts out there. We're going to be able to do that.
Yep.
So yeah, this is your first show with us. Stick with us, whether you like it or you don't like it. Whether you're like these guys are gassing each other up, and then you're gonna be listening to us for the next hour. Like flop. Stick with us. We're good at we're getting better. We're good. You should have been listening to episode 1. It was me, Babs, and GRD. We didn't know what we were doing.
Go back to episode, and here's the thing: it's episode 73. Go back to episode 1 and go listen to that one. Then fast forward to episode 50 when we had our first regular guest, and that was a crazy one. And then fast forward even more to that and see where we are today in episode 73, and you could just see the difference from 150 to 73. And then where we're telling you we're going to go. We've been saying this for a long time. It's just that it's finally putting it together.
We are living proof of evolution.
You're not wrong. Anything is possible.
Brandon, your
That thing
mic
is loud.
is like a megaphone
Is
right
it?
now.
That thing is loud.
That's not what we needed.
Hey, we'll work on that. That's another step here.
Yeah, please pay us money. That'd be great.
I despise Tony Brothers. Like, with all of my heart, I hate Tony Brothers.
Why?
Boston Celtics are playing Game 7. If you're listening to this in the morning on Friday, they're playing tonight. We don't know who the refs are, but you already know it's going to be Scott Foster or Tony Brothers or one of those jamokes they're going to come in. Dude, the refs have all the control in a basketball game. And Game 6 of the Toronto Raptors versus Boston Celtics proved it. I'm not one to say blame the refs every time, but if you look at the league, what is it, the review it under 2-minute rule,
The 2-minute report, yeah.
it's as long as a CBS receipt.
It is long.
And then, I keep saying this. If you listened earlier before, but I'm going to bring it up again. There is zero reason why NBA, NFL, any referee ever in professional sports should not have a post-game press conference. They're not.
With it.
They are
I'm
not.
with it.
There's nothing you can.
They're part of the game, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're not even part of the game. They can control any single part of the game. Kemba Walker goes up twice. He's absolutely Batista speared, Edge speared.
Slashed.
Nothing. Now, Kemba Walker did not play well, and Jason Tatum, he put up a lot of box score numbers, didn't play well leadership-wise or anything like that. We'll go to that in a second. But when you were playing 50-50 ball with the refs every single call, but you're not getting your way, it's obviously going to be infuriating. And then you look and the league's admitting it yeah, we messed up. The fix is in. Celtics is 7. You're going to book that, though. But, yeah, thoughts on, I guess, this whole series. We haven't really talked about it all too much because we had a lot of behind-the-scenes work.
Tyler, you sound surprised about the ref thing. This is like not a new thing for the NBA or really any sport in that matter. The refs always take control, always get a power trip, and then ruin the game for the wrong team.
Yeah, but it happened to my team in Game 6 when I'm surrounded by nothing but 76
I know.
chirping me. I'm still hot. I'm not going to sleep tonight, and the game's in 24 hours.
No, and the series has had a lot of up and downs already without that interference. I mean, like the game-winning 3 with no time left, OG Anunoby or whatever his name is, over Jaylen Brown.
OG Anunoby.
Dog. I love OG.
Well, first of all,
I hate that he's killing us.
We haven't really talked about that. How the hell did he get that wide open on an inbound play?
It literally happened.
How?
When we played Milwaukee, I think it was a 2017, 2018 series.
Chris Middleton?
Chris Middleton with 0.3 on the clock. It's not something new for the Celtics to give up these last-second shots.
It's so infuriating and frustrating. Like, guys, Marcus Smart's the smartest on-ball defender in the NBA, and you should be directing your entire defense. The fact that someone's not on that dude wide open on the wing is embarrassing. And that's on Brad Stevens, too.
I think they did this with Taco. That was like in the Miami Miracle game when they throw Gronk back there.
Yeah.
They're just like, in retrospect, pretty good idea. Like Taco Fall, 9 feet tall. There's no way. And then, of course, Lowry. I hate Kyle Lowry. I'll get to that in a second. But Lowry was smart. He backed up. There's no seats. There's no fans. You have an extra couple feet to throw it over Taco Fall. Hit it. Literally, it was the most perfect pass. Hit him right in the pocket, and he goes right up. Unfortunate. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people got mad at Jaylen Brown game 3 and 4, rightfully so. But it's not like he was taking bad shots. He was just missing wide open ones, which is why people got mad. But I went on Twitter today after Game 6, and I saw people getting mad at Jaylen Brown for Game 6. Without him, they're not even in that game. They're not even
that's a blowout.
They don't go to double overtime because he doesn't hit those free throws. When are people going to take their anger out on Jason Tatum and stop giving it to Jaylen Brown?
Wait, Tyler, you like Jaylen Brown?
I'm a defender, first team all defense, Jaylen Brown. Like, people are mad at Tatum, so they take it out on Brown, and it doesn't make any sense because they say, oh, Tatum almost got a triple-double. Yeah, but Tatum played like a moron 99% of the game. The only impact he had in the double overtime is when he hit like that 50-foot 3 with like a second left. Like, oh, thanks for showing up 51 minutes into the game, Clown.
No, and the thing is, I agree with you. And the number one problem I've had with Jason Tatum, at the beginning of this season even, is consistency. He has superstar potential and shows flashes of being a dominant NBA player, but cannot string it together for sustained periods of time. And it's so frustrating as a Celtics fan. Yes, we have a ton of on-ball talent. Kemba Walker, Jaylen Brown. We had Gordon Hayward and Jason Tatum. And the fact that we can't get one single superstar to consistently string out superstar numbers is infuriating.
I don't know. I have a theory. So, last game, or Game 6, yeah. There was a post that was going around saying with Deuce Tatum hopping on a jet, and a lot of people think he was going down to Orlando for the Eastern Conference Finals. Maybe the Tatum family was calling their shot. Either way, it's not like the plane's going to turn around because you lost Game 6. You're landing in Orlando. You're staying in the bubble, and you saw Van Fleet when his kids are there. He's playing like Michael Jordan. You think Deuce Tatum isn't going to have any impact on this game? You're wrong. You're a clown if you think Deuce isn't going to win the Celtics this series.
Just as a heads up, I'm sorry. The referees for today's game, that when you hear this, it's gonna be Scott Foster and Zach Zabra.
I said Zach.
You said that earlier, and I wanted to let you know.
I hate Scott Foster too. I'm gonna get mad just all weekend.
Hey, I'd rather have Scott Foster than Tony Brothers. That was
fair.
Seeing all the stats from the last few games that the Celtics have played with Brothers refereeing.
3 and 15.
Pretty eye-opening, yeah.
and this is a 9 p.m. Eastern time game. That's a pretty late game for a Game 7.
Hey, I work 1 to 8 tomorrow, so I needed
that. All right,
I know, that's
everyone will be off work. That's what I'm saying, man. This was set up from the beginning. Like, the NBA wanted so badly for there to be a Game 7 in this series, and now they pushed it back, so everyone's back from work, and they're getting even more viewership numbers when the game's actually on. It's been set up from the start, I swear.
Little predictions for Game 7 going around. I'm just gonna start real quick because I'm probably gonna rant again. Kemba Walker, he's not going to play terrible again. He's either off or on. Joe was just speaking about consistency. He had like 3 points yesterday. Kemba Walker, Game 7, first time he has to like prove himself in Boston, like really, really prove himself. I don't see him shining away from that. Tatum, like I said, Deuce and Tatum, he's going to hear a lot of noise if the Celtics don't win this game. Like, all that Jason Tatum's next big thing is soon going to be turned to, oh, maybe Jason Tatum's not it. Maybe we jumped the gun. Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown just is going to bring it. Marcus Smart, you already know what you're going to get with Smart. Tice is the most underrated player on the Boston Celtics team. he scored every single point in overtime, catching the lob. And I just think they go 6-7 deep. I don't think you see anything from Kanter. I don't think you see anything from Semi. I think it's just going to be Rob Will, Wanamaker, Smart. Who else is coming off the bench? I think it's a high-minute game. You got to go back-to-back 50 minutes, dude. You're in the bubble. All you do is play basketball and rest. You got to just put it on the line. But anyways, what are your guys' thoughts for tomorrow's game?
My prediction, W. That's it. Brandon,
I agree.
By double digits, too. That's what I'm
Double-digit W?
Yes.
I don't know if you said that, Joe. Do you want to double down on it?
No, I'm saying W. That's all I said. That's all I said. Tyler said
double-digit dubs.
The consistent theme throughout the series that I've been watching is the last second shot. If you've watched any moment of the series, if you watch the last 10 seconds of any of these quarters, every quarter seems to be ending with a buzzer beater or a missed shot. Everyone's getting that last second shot, and there's really no defense being played when the clock's ticking to zero, whether it be at the beginning of the game or end of the quarter. Say that this game's going to come down to whoever makes the very last back and forth, same way Game 6 was, but someone's going to make themselves a hero in either Toronto or Boston for hitting a game-winning shot that's going to lead their team to victory by 1 point.
I agree. I just think whoever scores more points is going to end up winning this game. I mean, that's what's going to come down to.
Who said that? It was the
Ogre
old guy.
McFarlane.
No, it was the old guy doing the NFL stuff. He's on NFL Tonight. It was the OBJ catch night. And he's like, oh, Dallas lost because they didn't score as many points as the Giants or whatever it was. And I was like, no kidding. You get paid all this money for that.
Let me tell you something that's been going on in the background. We had GRD merch ready to go for a victory yesterday, and then the website crashed, and we're trying to get things set up, and it goes to overtime and double overtime. The Celtics are going to win by double digits. They're going to take care of business. This isn't even going to be a game at all. Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics, I'm going to put the pedal to the metal. They need to do this now. Game 7. Especially when you know you have an opportunity to play the Miami Heat, a very well-balanced team, might I add. But you have the opportunity to play the Miami Heat, which is a beatable team and a winnable series to go to the finals. You cannot fuck this up at all. I feel like the three-pointer to win earlier in the series, it is what it is. And even someone like a GRD, the guy Mr. Undefeated himself, and you hear it on the GRD pod, he was skeptical going into yesterday. He said it was going to be a 7-game series from the start. I think most people knew this was going to be a tough head-on-head series, and here we are at Game 7. But for the sake of the Boston's Big 3 brand and for the sake of what we're doing, this motherfucking Celtics team is going to win by double digits, and at halftime, we're going to be so excited because all the money's going to come in, baby. And
because
that's the start of Ride the
everything
Wave.
is so fucking green.
Everything will be so green tomorrow, and we'll be getting ready to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, beat the Heat.
Yeah, the Heat are a bunch of dogs. But any last thoughts on the Celtics or anything NBA related before we go on to foosball?
I'm a little upset that Taco Fall during this past series let me down, dude. -3. I mean, I put you on my arm for a reason, dude.
Half second, -3. Jeez.
There will be no slander on Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or Kemba Walker on this podcast.
Marcus Smarf. We are a Marcus Smarf podcast.
We are Marcus Smarf stands all around.
NFL is back. NFL is currently back right now. It's Chiefs Texans, like we said earlier in the show. I don't know what the score is, but fantasy football season's back. Gambling's back.
It doesn't feel like football.
I was about to say, it does not feel like
it.
football. I forgot the NFL. Like, I knew it was on this week, and I woke up, it was Thursday. I was at work. I'm like, oh, yeah, the Chiefs played tonight. Like
football.
Yeah.
It's because we're so distracted with hockey, but more so basketball.
Yeah.
I think we're just in baseball season. I know baseball's still there for the baseball heads out there, but that happens every year. It's the fact that the NBA playoffs are going, and he's like, oh, yeah, we also have football going on as well, too. I just saw the clip in the background of and you know what's weird is that, say, Gillette Stadium this Sunday, no fans are allowed. The Chiefs are allowing fans there, but it's all spread out.
17,000.
Yeah.
It looks like just like your typical high school football team, like that's playing in like the big stadium in Texas or something like that. I don't know. It's just so weird.
Yeah. And speaking of the distraction, today's the first day ever. You guys probably saw this somewhere on Twitter or Instagram that all major sports leagues are playing a game today. Like, this has never happened before. Like,
cool.
we've had four in the past, like baseball, basketball, hockey, and football lining up. But today we've got actually the MLS, WNBA, NBA, MLS. I said MLS, MLB, hockey. There's everything is happening today, Thursday, September 10th, and it's going to be a bar trivia question in a year or so.
When it comes down to ratings, I'm actually interested to see how this works after tonight, because you have the Los Angeles Lakers Rockets game going on right now. You have the Texans Chiefs game, and I feel like
Thursday night football
hasn't done enough promotion to get themselves out there. But once this Sunday comes, and once you're sitting on the couch and you're at home and you have all your sports bets and you have everything locked in for your fantasy football team, it's going to feel like football again. It will feel like it again.
If you don't bet Babs parlay of the week, you're a pussy.
And that's a segment that you'll be seeing dropping every Saturday is the Babs parlay of the week. I'm going to take $20 is all it takes, and you guys have the chance to either win $150. You could take a couple straight up favorites, 800, 4,000. And listen, you can't shit on me. I hit a couple parlays last year. All it takes is a couple during the season to get your money back and make some money. That's what we're all about.
Exactly.
And also, we're bringing it back this year, better tracked. I know Brendan Watabe's got his statistics lined up. We're going to go through every single NFL game and which one of us four will end up having the best record at the end of the season.
I'm going to go wild card. I'm going to say Tyler.
Yeah. All right. No, I was going to vote for myself too. Hold on. Let me explain why.
I was going to make sure you understand that I won it last year. You invited me onto your show. You added me to the BB3 show, and then I ended up being smarter than all of you. And now we got Joe going to blow us all out of the water.
Hold on. So, yeah, I'm about to say, I came in midway through the season last year, so let's not.
He came in midway through the season and beat both Tyler and Babs.
Yeah, but we had more reps to put up. We had more losses to get. But no, I was gonna put me too, because I think you guys are like I think me and Brandon are gonna go about this, right? Because I think Babs and Joe are gonna try to look like too technical. I'll end up being like the person who picks a March Madness bracket based on like what color jerseys they like better. I'm just like, all right, I'm just gonna go with my gut the whole year. And if you follow my gut, I'm a lock. Fact.
All right.
I'm going to come in last
now.
place. I'm going to be in last no matter what.
Yeah.
I know that. It's going to happen. I play with my gut.
Jets versus Bills in Buffalo week 1 in AFC
You might want to start with tonight's game.
Thursday night footballs never count, because you know what's going to happen is we're going to record every Thursday night, and Thursday nights are not going to count. We're going to do the show's going to be released. We're going to have a consistent schedule. This is releasing every Friday.
We're only gonna talk about the Thursday night game if they bring back color rush. That's
just for the record, though, on Stafford and Matthews, we did pick Thursday night's game. I picked the Texans, who are actually up right now as we're recording.
But that doesn't count. That's an asterisk. That doesn't count when you get that victory.
Yep. This is the
Boston.
Boston.
2 days ago.
That's a Stafford and Matthews thing. This is Boston's victory.
Jets at Bills. Any input on the game before we make our picks? I have Josh Allen going to be having a good year. I think it's going to be us versus the Bills when it comes down to the end of it, AFC East. So I'll go Jets.
I'll start. We'll go around the table. I'll go Watabe, Stafford. Tyler can finish it off. I'm going in this game. I'm going Buffalo Bills. The addition of Le'Veon Bell.
I think they retire Tom. I'll take Buffalo Bills as well. I think everyone who plays the Jets has to be a 6.5, 10, 11-point favorite. I haven't followed them super closely. I just know that they're getting Le'Veon Bell back. They're getting Sam Darnold back, who's supposed to be the best quarterback in his draft class and has yet to prove it. But I do think Josh Allen and the Bills pull it out.
All right. So Josh Allen has 3 things going for him: a rocket arm, Stephon Diggs, and he looks great in shorts.
Yeah.
No, but I am saying Josh Allen's going to win this game based on the fact that the Jets suck, okay? Overall, I'm sorry. Defense is not there. Offense is certainly not there. The receiving core is pitiful. The defense, while I said it is awful, has some sort of talent. It's starting to shape up a little bit, but then again, it's the goddamn Jets.
Joe, do we get to put an asterisk by your picks if you chose someone else in Stafford and Matthews and flipped it up over here?
Absolutely, you can. But I actually I actually wrote all my picks down from Stafford and Matthews. So I'll be consistent. I won't switch it up on you guys.
Tyler, you said Bills too?
Bills by a bill.
I dig it.
All right, here we go.
Packers Vikings in Minnesota.
Not that it matters.
This is gonna be the year that I think a lot of Aaron Rodgers questions are gonna be answered. Is he gonna be like good? Was he hurt most of last year? And then he's coming back. And Minnesota's looking like good. I think Minnesota's like gonna win the NFC North comfortably this year.
The fact I look at this is that Minnesota is favored by 2.5 points. You got to take the Packers if you're a betting man on this, and I'm taking the Packers straight up anyways. This is the fact of what came off this offseason. They drafted Jordan Love, and then you hear the thing about Aaron Rodgers was kind of crying about it, saying, I'm never going to be replaced. Well, it's week 1. Don't bet against Aaron Rodgers week 1. That's what I say. This guy's fresh. He's ready to go. And like you said, a lot of questions will be answered for the Green Bay Packers. I'm going to go with what I see. Aaron Rodgers, Week 1 Green Bay Packers, just to let him know he still is here. Let's see how he carries it for the remainder of the season. I think Minnesota is just always an overrated team. I just don't see them coming out right off the gate and winning this game.
I do agree with Tyler. I do think Minnesota is going to be a very good team this year, and I think they're the team to beat in that division. I don't think they're going to keep it consistent all the way through the season. I do think they win this game. I don't think they win it comfortably whatsoever. I think the Packers gave them a great fight Week 1, but I definitely think the Vikings are the team to beat, but they'll be floating around 10 wins and win that division.
Okay, so for me, it comes down to quarterback play. Kirk Cousins versus Aaron Rodgers. I am a very anti-Kirk Cousins person. I think he's overrated. I think he's overpaid. I think he's a choker, etc. I just don't like the guy. But I will say for Aaron Rodgers' sake, me and Chris Matthews released our hot takes this morning, our 3 hot takes for the NFL season. And I said Aaron Rodgers would finish top 2 in MVP voting. And I stand by that because he is pissed off that the team drafted Jordan Love instead of giving him a receiver that he desperately needed. The revenge tour starts on Sunday. The Green Bay Packers will blow out the Minnesota Vikings. And Tyler mentioned it was in Minnesota. Not that that matters. There's maybe one home field advantage this year. It's in Denver because it's all the altitude. Besides that, there's no fan advantage. There's no atmosphere. There's no nothing. It's straight up who's a better football team. And the Green Bay Packers are a better football team.
Stick with the Vikings. I almost flipped it because Joe just kind of inspired me, but no. Going with the gut. I keep saying I'm going with the gut.
You're allowed to do that.
What I just said, Joe's going to say all this stuff, and then I'm just going to be like, Vikings. And then the Vikings are just going to get it to.
And that's why you're going to win this, because you're going to listen to us 3 first, then you get to make your pick off of that.
I'll go first to this next one if you want.
No,
Eagles versus the Washington football team. This team better go 0-16 if you have a trash name like it's trash, but it's also perfect.
It's so bad.
But I want them to go 0-16 really, really bad just because it'd be funny. It'd be like a default team or whatever, like an auto-drafted team. I go Eagles comfortably. I think Eagles are going to be pretty good this year.
I mean, it makes – I think that's wrong. I don't think the Eagles are going to be good this year.
I think they'll be sneaky nice.
I think it makes sense for the Washington football team to go 0-16 so you can go get a Trevor Lawrence out there, and then you could finally have a rebranded team going into 2021 season. But I like shocks on Sundays. I like underdogs, and I like stories. I'm going with the Washington football team against the Philadelphia Eagles.
The first franchise win for the Washington
The first
football
franchise
team
win,
ever.
and things are going to turn around. I mean, just think about the chemistry that's got to have to come to. I'm sure that it's depleted. I'm sure it doesn't exist. But the Eagles will find a way to keep themselves to lose this game. The Eagles are going to find a way to fuck this up. The Eagles are going to find a way that Carson Wentz throws 4 interceptions somehow and absolutely poops himself. This Washington football team is going to catch some sort of lightning in a bottle and win it. And just how the storylines go. How is this team that doesn't even have a real name win their first ever real
They have a name, sir. It's the football team.
The football team with a quarterback from Ohio State.
The Washington football team is going to win this game in homage of the Redskins.
Well, Babs, all I have to say is you're wrong. Pick the Eagles here.
That's kind of racist, Babs. Jeez. Now I see what they're saying about Cam Newton and Jarrett Stidham.
Gosh.
Oh, God. Anyway, Eagles and Washington football team. I'm a huge Carson Wentz guy, not a big Redskins guy in general, or football team in general. Their team is just gutted right now. They had to release Darius Geis because of an assault allegation from his fiance. They cut Adrian Peterson, who went to Detroit. The receiving core looks very, very, very non-exciting outside Terry McLaurin. Maybe even a guy like Antonio Gandy-Golden kind of breaks out for them. But the Eagles have a better overall team in general. The secondary isn't great, but the rest of their team has significant talent. Carson Wentz is going to break out this year again. Maybe even an MVP, caliber season. We'll see because he's Miles Sanders in that backfield. I'm going with the Eagles.
2.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Eagles. Then we got Browns at Ravens. This is the Lamar Jackson first game since he lost the playoffs, since he's been trashed all year. And then he got the Madden cover, and then everything was back to normal. But the NFL media was hot in the Lamar Jackson streets. I have the Ravens winning, but take the spread for Cleveland. I think it's 6.5. I saw it at. I think it's going to be a lock. Every week one ever. the Browns play a somewhat close game of blowout at the end. I think Ravens take it, but it's going to be way closer than people think.
Yeah, the spread's at 7.5 according to Yahoo right now, and I agree. Like, play the points in terms of the Browns' favor. If I'm picking Baltimore in this game straight up, money line, take the Baltimore. I mean, the Browns always play Baltimore tough, and if you're going to catch them, it's going to be this week. But coming off that loss, the way they did to the Tennessee Titans, they've had to have refocused this entire offseason. I expect the Baltimore Ravens to go to the Super Bowl this year, at least the AFC title game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I expect Lamar Jackson to have back-to-back MVP performances. That's a team that's just got to lick their wounds and just rebound. You got to do it against the Browns. And you know what? I hope they have a funny touchdown celebration where one like pulls their pants down and looks like they're taking a shit on Odell or something like that.
Dookie Beckham Jr.
They got to do something like that. I'm taking Baltimore in this game.
So the Ravens are going to win this game, but they're not going to win the Super Bowl, and Lamar Jackson's not going to win an MVP again. There you go. That's it.
Okay.
Who
Nice
will?
and concise.
Who's your MVP right now in the middle of this?
My fantasy quarterback, Russell Wilson.
I love that
Fair.
pick. Anyway, Browns and Ravens. I think Babs hit it on the head here. The Browns always play the Ravens so tough. And I actually almost picked the Browns here. I'm going with the Ravens because Lamar Jackson is pissed off. Yeah, he got the Madden cover. He was satisfied with that. But he's coming off 2 straight playoff losses that he was heavily favored, to make big impacts on, which he really didn't. And so when you look at it that way, he has an MVP under his belt, but 0 playoff wins. He's out on a campaign this year to prove he's a winner, not a great player, but a winner. He starts the season off this year with a dominating win over the Cleveland Browns.
It comes down to coaching too. I mean, like Harbaugh, like that guy is not gonna go and take a loss the way they did and then just stink it up week 1.
Who's the head coach of the Cleveland Browns now? Do you even know?
It's
Come
not
on.
Kitchens, right?
It's
No,
not him.
Kitchens.
No,
We don't even know who he is.
See, this is why me and Brandon are going to win this.
It's my guy
Exactly.
Kevin. It's my guy Kevin from Minnesota Vikings.
Kevin who?
I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's like a really weird
Exactly.
Polish last name. Hold on a second. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Stefanski. I think it's how you pronounce it. Stefanski.
Well, he's not beating Harbaugh.
No.
I don't think so either.
Coaching.
Debut coaching game. Yeah, right. Colts at Jaguars. I think the Colts, like Phillip Rivers is a good ad compared to what you had last year. You had Andrew Luck. You had all of these plans to Luck is your future. Build around Luck. That you made that very obvious. He retires 25 minutes before the year starts. You have Jacoby Brissett. You make the most out of what you got. Then you get Phillip Rivers, who's an established quarterback. He's a vet. He is a new coach, like a new whole system. Why am I blanking on the coach's name? LaFleur? No, that's Green Bay. What's
Who are you talking about?
the Colts coach?
Frank Reich.
That's what it was. He had this system. I read this article today. I think it was Warren Sapp's. He was saying like Phillip Rivers is built for Reich's system. It's like crazy matching. And then Reich is built for Rivers. He couldn't coach with Jacoby. He couldn't coach with.
For a reason. They're trying to tank. Gardner Minshew is trying everything in his power to not let that happen because he's very disrespected by that move by the Jaguars to gut their roster right before the season ends. But it won't matter. Colts are a better team in general. Colts by 1 million.
I just looked at this as Colts by 1 million. So Colts are favored 7.5 points. And in the Babs parlay of the week, I don't really like touching big numbers like that. It's a mortal lock. That is a lock. I know it's in Jacksonville, so it's interesting to see the heat down there and see what it's going to be like in terms of weather. But this is the best offensive line that Phillip Rivers will ever have. And when we talk about fantasy football, someone that I made sure I snagged in 2 of my 3 leagues, one of my leagues I fell asleep, I was in the hospital, woke up like around 10, is T.Y. Hilton. I think that T.Y. Hilton is going to be able to have the separation that Phillip Rivers is going to have enough time to throw to T.Y. Hilton. I think T.Y. Hilton has double-digit touchdowns. I think he's going to have a career year. It's interesting that me and Stafford, and I know we've talked about this on Boston's Big Three in the past, where Rivers was going to go. We said he's a good fit for Tampa Bay, and he really was at the time. And you also said he was a good fit for Indianapolis. And I think that this is going to work out that Phillip Rivers, I I think he's going to last there for another 2 to 3 or 4 years there. That Phillip Rivers, although he had a great career in San Diego, LA, whatever it is going to have more of an impact in Indianapolis in the short time he has right now than he ever did in San Diego. Meaning, I do think that Colts team, if they can get it together, could have a chance to be a playoff team. I think they win the division, and they have a legitimate shot to go to an AFC title game in the next 2 years because they have to let it develop, and a Super Bowl in the next 2 years.
Nice. I think the Colts win this
nice. Just
See,
nice.
Brandon, that's the insight we need.
That's all
Joe,
we need.
who's your pick?
I already went through the whole thing when you were frozen, so.
Oh, see, like, all right, let me plug something real quick. Please, when you see the merch, it goes a long way. I am at the point where my laptop, it's like the back part's always coming off. And if these two wires, my headphone wires and my microphone wires touch, my whole internet freezes. The merch will go a long way. A new microphone, a new laptop, just
Follow
anything.
on Twitter, too.
Insane. Oh, while I'm here, yeah, let's keep plugging.
Babs needs a new laptop, too.
At Ty Miller 508. I need you to follow me more than ever. I'll follow you back. Just merch, Twitter, on to the next game.
Let me tell you something. Either my parlays are going to start paying for that, or it's going to end up being the revenue that we make off the merchandise. And if you start freaking buying into revenue, if you start buying merch and gives us revenue, think about next year when we go to the Combine and Joe Stafford's going to be interviewing Pat Fryermuth on the field, and Chris Matthews is going to be getting us down. Shut up. And he's going to get us down. And think about when we go to the NFL draft, and we're going to be able to have all this stuff because of you guys. It's the whole point of it. So buy our merch.
Raiders, Panthers. These are two teams that I have no idea what I think about. Because the Raiders, I don't know, like they had another year of Gruden. Josh Jacobs is supposed to take a leap. But then again, they're the Raiders. And then Panthers, you lose really Cam Newton, and then your whole kind of franchise took a turn. You got rid of Rivera. I'm not sure if their quarterback last year was the guy. I'm going to go Raiders. I'm not going to bet against them simply because the Raiders. No, but they're in Vegas now, right?
Las Vegas
right,
Raiders.
Panthers by a lot.
So
that makes sense.
Las Vegas Raiders, yeah, right.
If this was in Vegas, it'd be a different story, I think. But here's the thing. What's the one thing that Babs repeats himself over and over again?
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. The West Coast team coming on the East Coast and playing a 1 o'clock slated game, I will always go against that. The Raiders are favored by 3 points in this game. You take the Panthers money line. The fact is that Teddy Bridgewater is the starter for the Panthers. This is his time to finally shine. He's been there with the New Orleans Saints, and he got paid, and he went over there to Carolina. Christian McCaffrey to prove why he wants to have MVP considerations this year as well, to prove why he is the number one running back in fantasy football. And from what did we hear, Joe Stafford, that the head coach there in the Panthers was doing at the Combine? He
was ripping fireball at the bar.
Ripping fireball shots at the bar right across the street from the Combine. That's our coach that we want. That's the coach. That is a lock this week. That's the lock of the week.
I got not Teddy Bridgewater and the Panthers. I've got Derek Carr and the Las Vegas Raiders. Hopefully you guys all pick the Panthers because that means I get ahead in these picks and I get a +1 on you guys already.
That's all I was looking for. I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers for one reason, and his name is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is probably the most dominant offensive weapon in the NFL. Yeah, I said it, over Patrick Mahomes, because his versatility is transcendent. He can do everything in your offense that you need. You insert Teddy Bridgewater there, pretty big contract considering where he was just a couple years ago after that tragic injury to his knee. But I will say he looks pretty good in camp from what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've read. He looks to be 100% a go for this NFL season. They add guys like Robbie Anderson. They have guys like they're already like Curtis Samuel. They have a pretty good offense out there. Their defense is no slouch either. I'm going with the Panthers.
Yeah, so I took Panthers too. We got Bears, Lions.
Would you like to say goodbye, Joe Stafford? Do you like to hop off?
Well, I can finish the picks if we hurry up here, but.
Oh, you can't. Oh, all right then.
I'm just saying.
All right, go ahead. Go.
Bears, Lions. Lions and Bears. Oh my. I don't know. Like, this is another one, dude. Like, these are two NFC North teams that I think are just going to be the same. Like, I think it's the Vikings that are going to win it, and it's going to
One
be
of these teams is
a
better
lot
than
of
the
mediocre.
other.
I'm going to go Chicago. I kind of want Mr. Trubisky to get it up.
The fact is they fumbled it when it came to quarterbacks this year. They paid Nick Foles, and you have Mitch Trubisky. That Chicago team is still a dumpster fire. Matt Patricia finally getting over that hump, and they should have won a couple more games than they did last year. I'm going to give the Detroit Lions the win this week. They're favored by 3 points. I wouldn't touch that. They're probably going to win by 3, so it ended up being a push. But I'll give Detroit. And it probably play better because they have no fans booing them inside their own stadium. They don't have to have all that pressure anymore. I like and this is 2020. Everything's super wacky. Who knows? We might see the Detroit Lions go 14-2 this season for all we know. Never know. But I take the Lions this game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions too. I think like you said, that 3-point favorite. I think they'll cover that. I think this is going to be a pretty good game. For the Lions. I don't think it's going to be back and forth type game, but I think the Lions win by double digits because Chicago has no idea who's going to play quarterback the next week.
Well, I will say they announced a starter, and his name is Mitch Trubisky. And that kind of shocked me, but also didn't shock me because it's COVID, not a lot of time to prepare for the system, etc., different complications with that. But I am taking the family name, Uncle Matthew Stafford, and the Detroit Lions will be kicking the Chicago Bears' ass on Sunday for the sole reason that they have more offensive talent. Kenny Golladay is probably the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. Super dominant, big get ball guy in the red zone, and he just does a lot of stuff with the ball in his hands. Their defense is actually shaping up to be pretty nice too. Very young, but definitely developing in a positive direction. So I'm going with the Detroit Lions here.
Seahawks at Falcons. I think the Seahawks are a scary good football team.
Can we just slam the Seahawks on this?
Yeah. I was going to say, a lot of people are going to be like, Falcons are in the dome. Matt Ryan's in the dome.
Seahawks.
That means he's throwing more to the Seahawks. Yeah, right. Seahawks
by a milli.
Yeah. Dolphins, Patriots. Taking the Pats.
And I think everybody here is going to end up taking the Patriots. The one thing I'm looking at is that 6.5-point spread.
Yep.
Can the Patriots do it? And we'll talk Patriots more after the picks are done and get more into it. What the hell is Cam Newton in this offense going to be able to do? This defense is still the same defense and still going to be the top-notch defense. I think Miami coming up here, they play tough. This is Ryan Fitzpatrick's the starter for the Miami Dolphins. Ryan Fitzmagic in September always happens, kills it. I think it'll be a closer game. I think expect the Pats a lot of 3-and-outs to start the game, ground and pound. But again, with no preseason and no media coverage, like we haven't seen anything from the Patriots the last month and a half. Nothing really out there. It would not shock me if they end up winning by 60 or they win by like 1 point. But it's the Patriots are going to win this.
I got the New England Patriots by 10.
I have the New England Patriots because I think Stephon Gilmore makes it his personal mission to make Devontae Parker's life hell. Because in week 17, I should say, I was there. I was in person and watched Devontae Parker embarrass the best cornerback in the NFL. It was horrendous. And so when I look at it that way, Stephon Gilmore, while he is a quiet leader, he's an aggressive player. And he's going to take vengeance out on the Miami Dolphins and Devontae Parker specifically. Cam Newton bursts onto the scene just for the sake of our merchandise and throws 4 touchdowns, and we launch our Cam Newton line.
I don't know. I've been slandering Cam Newton for the last month and a half.
It's because you're racist. That's why.
All right, don't even fucking start. It has nothing to do with that. Stupid. We're still going to release a Jarrett Stidham merchandise the same day. I'm still putting Stidham merchandise out there. We'll get it done.
Chargers at Bengals. Joey B gets a debut win. Book it. Bengals kind of stink, but I believe in Burrow.
Again, another thing with the Babs parlay when I'm going to come out on Saturday, and most of the parlays have 4 slips this week, $20 slips. One of the things I love is the Cincinnati Bengals plus 155. The Chargers are -3. I just don't see Tyrod Taylor leading that team to victory week 1. Maybe if they figured it out and had Justin Herbert, sure, but Joe Burrow is your future. We've been seeing this with the last few years. Johnny Manziel's and the Baker Mayfields. You want to believe it? Joe Burrow is the guy. He is the guy. We've been saying it over and over, but NFL needs Joe Burrow to be the guy. Cincinnati needs Joe Burrow to be the guy. And I think that the combination of him and Joe Mixon, I think they're going to win this game.
When was the last time Tyrod Taylor played a game?
Last year. Or he was the guy right in front of Baker.
Okay. That was last year?
No, 2 years ago. But wasn't he in front of someone last year too?
I don't think so. I don't remember him starting a game recently.
I mean, he must have been on San Diego last year, right? L.A.
Must have been.
Or did they sign him in the offseason? Whatever. Joe would know. Joe, would you like to
I'm
answer
going
that?
with the Bengals.
No comment.
Okay.
Anyway, I will say that the Chargers and Bengals will be an interesting game. And I say interesting because Tyrod Taylor, I'm actually a big fan of Tyrod Taylor coming from Buffalo with LaShawn McCoy in that offense, was actually a pretty exciting player. T-Mobile, as they called him up there. But this game is not his game to win. He'll actually be replaced by Justin Herbert by week 6. I'm telling you that right now. But I will say Joe Burrow is going to dominate this game, burst onto the scene, and make a statement win saying, hey, I'm here for real. This is the pro-life, and I'm ready to go.
And we talk about no fans real quick. That's actually better to have no fans around you for not feeling that pressure if you fuck up or everyone's booing you and you're like, fuck these toothless losers that live here in Cincinnati. Like, I don't care about you guys. No, he doesn't have to have that. He can focus on his game.
Cardinals at Niners. This is another game that I think the Niners just win, but you take the points for the Cardinals. I just want the Cardinals offense to be good with Drake, Kyler, D-Hop, Larry. I don't know. I don't know how their defense is. I think they still have Chandler Jones. They got who else do they have? Peterson. No, isn't Peterson suspended?
I opted out. I don't know.
The safety.
Pat Peterson?
Yeah. I thought he got suspended. Or was that last year?
Buda Baker didn't get suspended.
No.
Pat Peterson.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a cornerback, not a safety.
Oh, either way, didn't he get suspended?
Not this year. Last year.
All right, it was last year. I couldn't remember. Like, time means nothing anymore. I don't know. I take 49ers, but you play the points for the Cardinals.
This is the game I didn't want to touch because I feel like it's going to be close. And I'm going to just say it for the sake of the picks here. I'm going to pick Arizona. I think all the hype around Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, it's a good statement, especially Super Bowl hangover 49ers. You lost that game, Jimmy G, and then you lose week 1 in that fan base. And maybe it starts creeping in. It's like, is Jimmy G actually going to be the guy of our future? Is this team actually going to go somewhere? Was that just a one-and-done type of season where they just truly carried by a defense? I like to see Arizona make that statement when week 1, and there it is. If I could go back to Tiverton Casino and I was allowed to go back there for another $20 bet, I would put my money down on the Cardinals.
I like that. I think the Cardinals win this game because they made that blockbuster move over the offseason, and they've got that like notoriety to make something happen this season now. They've got the pieces to make it happen. And like you said, 49ers Super Bowl hangover. I just don't remember anything special happening to them this offseason other than losing the Super Bowl.
All right, for me, I'm going with the Arizona Cardinals as well. Bab said right on the head that hype around Kyler Murray is legit, and I will buy that till the ends of the earth. The 49ers are being overhyped going into this season, and Jimmy Garoppolo is probably the main reason why. They got smoked in the Super Bowl. And I talked about this with Chris on Stafford and Matthews. When you have a dominant run game and a dominant defense, it works great until you have to play from behind. When you have to play from behind, you need a dominant passer who can win from the pocket. The reason the Ravens didn't go any far, the reason the Titans didn't go far, is because they have the same style of offense. The Arizona Cardinals add DeAndre Hopkins. They return Christian Kirk. They return Larry Fitzgerald. They return Kenyon Drake. While the offensive line is still dismal, their defense has been revamped with the addition of Isaiah Simmons. The 49ers will win this game.
They have a lot of good veteran and rookie atmosphere there in Arizona to make that shit mesh and make it work over
100%.
there.
Saints Bucks. I take Saints.
Yeah, I think the Saints. Again, I hope Tom Brady has a fantastic season himself individually. I'm not rooting against Tom Brady himself. I think Rob Gronkowski is going. I picked him up in fantasy in a couple of leagues because I think that he's going to be a top tight end. He's the security blanket for Tom Brady. But I just don't trust that Buccaneers defense, and they're going to have been a lot of shootout games. And it's going to be interesting to see how Tom Brady is now the LeBron James, where he is the coach. He is telling it how it rolls. I think that Bruce Arians is just going to let it go and let him do whatever he wants to type of do. I also think with the controversy that happened with Drew Brees during this offseason about the kneeling and all that, I know and this is the thing, it comes up and then it goes right away. But I think within the team that had to have some sort of team chemistry that puts them together to get them on the same page. The benefit for Tom Brady, I'd let you know Tom Brady's record in domes. I mean, it's another thing that, again, there's no fans there. Does that benefit Tom Brady? Absolutely. But I think it's just the Saints are going to come together. Sean Payton It's going to be a great – I think it's got a classic game that has over written.
This is a must-watch game.
Over. It's a must-watch game. It has the over written all over it. And I believe if you live in New England if you don't live in New England, you follow the 2-minute drill because that's how you get to watch the Patriots games. But if you live in New England, you end up watching the 1 o'clock game with the Patriots, and then this game's on Fox at 4 o'clock, and that's going to happen most of the season.
Right.
I'm taking Saints.
I'm taking Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby.
Love it. I'm also going with the Tampa Buccaneers, and not for the reason you think. I think the defense shows up, not the offense. I think the defense shuts down Drew Brees and company to start the season. While I think the Bucs actually won't win the division in the end, I think it'll be the first wild card. I do think the Bucs get the early season W over Drew Brees and the Saints because of that defense. The defense is talented. Shaq Barrett was the league leader in sacks last year. And Devin White is a Defensive Player of the Year candidate this year. He's only 23 years old. There's a lot of talent in his defense. I'm going with the Bucs.
It's 1 o'clock and the Patriots win, and then it's 8 o'clock and then the Buccaneers lose. The Pats are 1-0 and the Bucs are 0-1. What do you guys predict that goes on in this area in social media world?
We're going to launch an 0-1 shirt with Tampa Bay Buccaneers colors. That's what we're going to do. But I actually have to go, so I will give you my last few picks here. Sorry about this, boys. Cowboys, Rams, going with the Cowboys. The Rams stink. Jared Goff is not elite at anything. Think about it. Arm strength, accuracy, poise in the pocket, nothing. Horrible. Cowboys. Steelers and Giants. I'm going with the Steelers here. While I do like Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, I'm a big fan of the Steelers defense, headed by Minkah Fitzpatrick, roaming that midfield. Steelers by 1,000,000. Titans and Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos in an upset because the only home field advantage this upcoming season is that altitude in the mile-high city of Denver. I'm going with the Broncos. Drew Lock leads a star-studded offense featuring Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay, Cortland Sutton, KJ Hamler, and we cannot forget about Jerry Jeudy. Denver Broncos. Peace, boys.
I'm going to go right off of and go the last 3 games and rattle them just like he did. And we had to go. He has to go because he's going to go get BJ's. So I like that. I like the Dallas Cowboys in this game as well. And I think the 2.5, I think they covered. The LA Rams, dude, they're not the team that they were a couple years ago and went to the Super Bowl.
They spent all their money.
The Dak Prescott, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. Then when you go into the 2 Monday night games, this is the game I didn't want to touch because the Steelers, again, they're favored 6 points in this game, and they're playing in New York. What happened last year? A healthy Big Ben comes into New England, and they got whomped 33-3 or whatever it was, 30-3. I actually do like the new head coach, whatever his freaking name is, that came from New England. I think that there's something there that New England's always had Pittsburgh's number, and now the head coach over there knows Pittsburgh's number. That I like that, and it's something that I might want to pick the Giants to take the money line, and I'm going to pick the Giants in that one. And then lastly, Titans and Broncos. Vrabel, that Titans team, I think that I actually like the addition of Steven Gostkowski over there. It's like a former Patriot that comes over there. Von Miller just out for the season already. And at the time when I picked it, I believe I had it here is that the Titans were not even favored in this game, and now they're 2-point favorites. I would go with Titans in that game. So Cowboys, Giants, Titans to round that one out.
I got Cowboys, Steelers, Titans.
I got to write all this down. That's a lot of information just kind of throw my way. I'm trying to type them all down. You want to say that one more time, Tyler?
Cowboys, Steelers, Titans.
Cowboys, Steelers, Titans.
No insight, no nothing. Stick with my guys. Cowboys, Steelers,
I gotta
Titans.
see these games. I think the Cowboys win based solely off the fact that I've seen a lot of people pick them to go to the Super Bowl. So
New coach.
I guess that means they're pretty good. And then I'll also take the Steelers because I've seen the Steelers play good football in the past, and I think they'll do it again. And the Broncos. Broncos because I spent a few summers up in Denver, and a lot of my friends are not Cowboys, Broncos fans, and I want to see them be happy.
I believe Dallas's new coach is Mike McCarthy. Don't get me wrong. I believe that's
that's right.
That's who it is. And Mike McCarthy had success in Green Bay. And Green Bay and Dallas had such a rivalry. So wouldn't it be just kind of funny how Mike McCarthy now goes down into Dallas and ends up leading them to a divisional win? I think the Cowboys now have the shot, especially when the Washington football team has the upset of the week and they beat the Eagles, and then the Cowboys are already up in the division. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Anything we want to talk about unless we're going to talk about Patriots and wrap it up, or do you want to save next week? Give you a little preview this week, or what do we expect to see week one? We kind of touched on it a little bit, but
It's been toast bag that carries in, and you get chips in it. Wait a minute. This is how we got to do sponsored ads. There's chips in here, and then look, it makes even noise. Wait. You're supposed to pour it, and then.
Sound like the
That's so
honky horn at
crazy. All
TD
right.
Garden.
So, anyways, yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's the lighthouse horn. That's the lighthouse horn. A couple things, Patriots news that I want to talk about. It's been very tough over the last month to even finagle all the news that's been going on. First of all, I've been pushing the Jarrett Stidham narrative, and since August 21st, your boy was the one that broke the news that Cam Newton was going to start, and I want the credit retroly when we look back on this years and years later. I knew the news that came out. It's great that the New England Patriots finally, Cam Newton's taken this over. We talked about leadership. Cam Newton is building that team around him together. I do think that this team can go so many different ways. And you don't know. Like when Tom Brady, they're going to go 12-4. They're going to figure it out. You don't know what's going to happen. Week 5 bye is so crucial for this team now because it's either Cam Newton goes 1-3 and they go, we're going with Stidham week 6. Or Cam Newton goes 3-1 and they just keep rolling with Cam Newton. I will say this. We haven't seen much because the Patriots love this. They're controlling all the media. Media is not – I've been talking to Mike Giardi. We're supposed to fucking have him on a podcast. Completely forgot about that. Been so busy. We're going to get him on soon from NFL Network. He's been telling me that the Patriots have been controlling so much media and how things go. The one thing that I stuck out with, and I said this in our chat, people said you're overlooking it, is that Cam Newton, they asked him, Ben Volen asked him from the Boston Globe, can you survive a 16-game schedule? Cam Newton has not taken an NFL hit in over a year and a half. Even though that he looks jacked and looks excited and he's hyped up and he feels mentally there, can his body hold up for 16 games? Can he do it? The Patriots are going to rely on his legs. The Patriots are going to rely on his mobility. And I'm sure they're going to scheme things that are going to play for his strengths. Can Cam Newton handle the media heat if he loses a game? It's all been positive so far. Can he handle that heat if the Dolphins come in and loses that game and the media gets on him? Can he lead that locker room? A lot of question marks with Cam Newton. And again, I'm not shitting on him, but a lot of this fan base in New England is living in the past of 5 years ago of this guy that was an MVP, and then you start blaming injuries and all this and that. I'm excited to see what Cam Newton does on Sunday. I'm not rooting against Cam Newton. I got the Cam Newton merchandise ready to go. I'm all in for Cam Newton. But, man, there are so many question marks with this offense that I think they look horrendous. The fact that Gunnar Olszewski is your number 2 wide receiver that looked the best is not good. This is a N'Keal Harry year. N'Keal Harry could be an absolute bust. Damian Harris already on the IR. I know Belichick likes to play around with the IR, and I know Belichick's going to be playing around with the COVID. Look at this. They were going with no kickers for a while because they're trying to finagle things around. It doesn't feel right. It feels like this defense still needs to keep them going. I think this defense is still the top defense in the league. I just think that they're going to struggle to find it week 1. They haven't played a legitimate game together yet. And I think that when you look at Brian Flores, you got to give him credit in Miami. He's going to be able to rattle the cage of Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. And I don't know. I think the Pats are going to come out. They'll win. Like I said, they're going to go 12-4. I'll still stick with it. But there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty when it goes down to it. I'm also interested. I've heard rumors through like Silver Bullet, that down at Gillette Stadium on Sunday, they're putting tarps up. They're putting barricades out there. They're making sure that no one goes to that stadium. No one hangs out around that stadium. We were talking about 6-string, like going out there maybe for a game. They're very limited with capacity. This is why I'm saying it doesn't feel like the season's even here. Like it just feels so weird that and I'm happy, like in the sense that I'm gonna be sitting on the couch this Sunday with my girls. I'm going to be watching the game with them. We'll get all dressed up. JE11, and shout out to JE11. They sent us a bunch more stuff to like rep and stuff like that for the game. You're watching at home. I'm finally going to be home. I got all my sports bets in. I'll be caring more about fantasy football this year. It just doesn't feel like Patriots football's here, and it feels like the season's almost already a wash. Julian Edelman, like another guy. Like, that guy, I am shocked he's not a captain this year. That was one of the shocking things to me. Now, does he want it? He probably doesn't want that responsibility. That shows to me that this motherfucker, because I've been talking to his Bram, he's gone. Like, he after this year, I think he opts out and he goes down to Tampa and plays with Brady. Like, that's I think he goes and ring chases somewhere else. I think he didn't want the responsibility and didn't want to be the captain in that sense. They gave it to Cam Newton because he's the quarterback and because he has to be that leader of that locker room around there. I just felt like Edelman's the quiet guy. He's going to come in here. He's going to do his little thing this year. I think his receptions go down. I think his touchdowns go down. I think his production's going to hurt. And I think when the time comes, he's going to be the one that opts out and doesn't stay. Because Edelman's not the type of guy, I feel like, that is going to go to that offense and be like, hey, guys, let's do this. This is what we're doing. I come in here, I do my job, I leave type of deal. I think he's hurt with Tom Brady and Gronk going down to Tampa Bay. But once he sees them figure that shit out, I expect that brand to go down there next year. A lot of changes are happening. I just feel like he was left out this season and wishes he could have went down there this year. And I bet the Patriots tried shopping him around, and they needed him. They didn't need him to keep some of the veteran leadership that they had, but a lot of question marks with the Patriots across the board. It really is. I'm glad they're playing Miami week 1. It'll be interesting to see what happens week 2, and we'll get to that point next week when we come on the show and we talk about Seattle Seahawks. They have the advantage with no fans up there. But my prediction right now, because we haven't said it yet, is that I do truly think that Cam Newton, and I'm going to end up eating my words, is that I do think that Jarrett Stidham takes over at some point this season due to an injury. Fuck these fucking fans, I'm telling you. Stidham has a grade 1 groin tear. He's not ready to go. That's why there was no more QB competition. It was over. They gave it to Cam Newton. They are breeding Jarrett Stidham as their future quarterback. They need Jarrett Stidham in a game or two this year just to see his production, to see if it's gotten any better compared to last year's preseason games. And I just think that Cam Newton ultimately is not going to be the same Cam Newton we think he is. And I think Cam Newton will have flashes of 2015 Cam, but ultimately Cam Newton's going to go down to an injury. So when I dance on that grave, people are like, well, no, he was hurt, just the same way that I'm saying Stidham's hurt. I think Stidham ends up taking over. I think this team finds ways to win. They'll pull everything out of their pocket. They will win the division. And
what kind of record do you think they win it with?
I say 12-4 only because this defense is still the top defense of the league. I don't get why.
Even with all the opt-outs?
Yeah, even with all the opt-outs, because now you're giving these younger guys like Juwan Bentley and Chase Winovich more of an opportunity. I just see those guys. You still have a Stephon Gilmore. The fact is they kept the McCourties there. That's big. You got a Slater there. That's big to keep that team together. Their special teams are still pretty intact. It's the fact that you have the McCourties, J.C. Jackson, and Stephon Gilmore as your secondary. They're going to be lights out on defense. It was frustrating last year, but it's going to be frustrating because what you saw last year, I feel like it's going to happen again. They will have something special for Cam Newton. It's going to be interesting to what they can end up doing. But, man, this offense is very lackluster. It really is. And that's if you're a person that says to finish out his contract, do you think that he wanted to sign and stay with the team that he has around there right now or the team he has in Tampa Bay? I got to stick with the Patriots. I'm not rooting against them. I'm going to go for them. I'm not going to be that homer anymore with the 2 tattoos back-to-back years and going absolutely bananas. There's going to be no eye black this year since I'm going to be at home. I ain't going to do any of that stuff. But I'm just more saying that, is Cam Newton a one and done? Is Cam Newton a one and done for you? Is he going to stay long-term? Are you going to sign a multi-year deal where they're trying to work on that? A lot of question marks for the New England Patriots. And guess what? It's just because we haven't seen anything in preseason. We haven't seen this team develop. We're going to start going week by week. I think the early bye is a benefit. It benefits them greatly to have that early bye. And I'm just hoping that they actually are able to finish off the entire season and have a Super Bowl this year. And I think now with what's going on with COVID and how these leagues are handling it, I think they'll be able to do it.
If the MLB did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brendan said to you, I was like, it's going to be a Black July and like this and that. And I will go back and say I was completely wrong. It got a little shaky. It did get shaky, but these leagues, everyone's figuring things out. There will be an entire season. Whether fans are coming in there or not, no, we don't know. They will next year. March next year when March Madness comes back will be the time where fans are starting to come back on things. And
all right, to finish Patriots talk, Babs, I need to get your
Oh, did he freeze? Or was it me?
No,
Look
he
at him.
froze.
I like that face. You know what we should have for merch is just our frozen faces that we make. You see his face? It's just a montage of frozen faces.
Let's see if he ever comes back.
I don't think so. He had a question for me. I have a question for you while I wait for him. Is Penn State still a football team?
We're taking a year off. COVID. However, my final thought, we'll just get into final thoughts, Brandon.
It's like if this was Battle Royale 5 this entire time. This
Listen,
was the last one.
Brandon's out of here. Brandon's out of here. All right, this is what I'm saying. If you made it to this point in the podcast, please buy our merch so I can get just a new mic, anything. But anyways, let's wrap this up. This is Boston's Big 3, episode 73. Big things coming. Celtics Game 7, go C's. Patriots is
What's your final thought? Wait, what was your final thought? We need to get your final
Pat
thought.
Frymuth is out of there. Pat Frymuth is going to be Boston's Big 3. We'll have him on before the draft.
My final thought is this. I showed Pat Frymuth the merchandise that we were about to release, and he said, quote, "That sweatshirt's tough." TUFF. He said, "That's tough." I would love – the fact is this, is being 29 years old and the fact that this kid's 21. I mean, young
hip at the
kid.
times.
This kid, I feel like it's like the Dave Portnoy switch right now in Boston, where Portnoy got a lot of these athletes to come in because they were younger, and we have now a building platform. We're going to get Pat Frymuth in here, and we're going to do some fun things with him. I want Tyler Miller to go out there on draft night and be in that inner circle with Pat Frymuth, that you get to, like, you know how he like ends up standing up and everyone's family's clapping and you're there. Like, you're going to be sitting at that table. Like, we're going to make that happen. Because it comes from the two areas, from both Boston's Big 3 and the other little thing that you also work on as well too. So
my side project.
Your side project. I think that we are going to end up having that happen. My final thought is this: football's back. Pay attention to us, just like he said. Get your bets in. Pay attention to the Babs Parlay of the Week. $20 is all it takes to get yourself to win some cash, whether it's $800, $1,000 to $4,000. We have money lines. We have spreads. We're going to do this. I don't just pick with just like, oh, I just pick the random games like I have been for all week with NBA and baseball and stuff. This is football season now. Football's here. Let's get it.
Book it.